A very good evening to all the dignitaries and the participants present. I, Ronita Chakraborty, on behalf of the Department of Education, Undergraduate and Postgraduate Wing, Salesian College, would like to welcome you all in this one-day webinar on mental health of students, educational implications, issues and challenges organized by the department in collaboration with IQAC, Salesian College, Siliguri. The department decided to organize this webinar today, that is 16th of August, as it marks the birth anniversary of Don Bosco, the patron saint and the founder of the Salesian congregation. Don Bosco was a great educationist of the 19th century and had initiated hundreds of educational projects from Italy to different parts of the world. Education being his main thrust, Don Bosco propagated the preventive system of education based on reason, respect for the divine, and loving kindness. In his name, millions of youth gathered in different Don Bosco institutions. One such institution is the Salesian College, which was established in the year 1938 in Darjeeling Hills. The University of North Bengal approved the Department of Education in the college in 2006. The department is of special significance as it emphasizes on building and shaping the youth following the principles of its father and founder, Saint John Bosco. The department has been progressing rapidly under the aegis of its well-trained faculties and has also started its postgraduate wing from 2019 and is the only college under the University of North Bengal with such a privilege. Before we begin with today's sessions, I would like to throw light upon the theme of the webinar. Education is an all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, body, mind and spirit, as told by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi in his book Harijan in 1940. Health as a discourse is holistic, comprising of mind, body and soul as its components. Therefore, in an attempt to educate a person, the aspects of the mind, body and soul cannot be taken as strands, but as in a holistic approach. Though when one's body has disorders or illness, the remedies by way of treatment and therapies are immediately resorted to. Rarely do we get similar concern about the mental health of individuals. It also gets its connotation that to be mentally unwell is almost socially stigmatizing concern for individual. This being the background, the challenge for the educators remain a daunting one because we engage with the person in total. A gym enthusiast and a sports person having good fitness may be having mental health issues due to the unhealthy competitions, wrong notion of the perfect body and so on. Similarly, students today, due to changing contours of the geopolitical and socio-economic scenario, have been going through several issues of mental health that the teaching or educating communities cannot ignore. Then came the pandemic, which brought about a sea of changes in the lives of such individuals. Thus, the Department of Education would like to intervene at this juncture by disseminating an accurate and healthy knowledge about the mental health, educational implications, issues and challenges. It is definitely a preventive measure to create awareness among the students and the teaching community. The webinar of today will comprise of 2 technical sessions, and in this regard, I take the privilege of introducing in your presence our esteemed resource persons who will be chairing the sessions. Our first resource person is Dr. Kaushik Raj, MBBS, DPM, and is a fellow member of the Indian Psychiatric Society, former in charge Tufanganj Mental Hospital, West Bengal, and at present is a consultant at Apollo Siliguri, Bishop James Memorial Hospital, Jalpaiguri, and Missionaries of Charity, Jalpaiguri. For the last 15 years, he has been serving thousands with psychiatric ailments and has conducted more than 60 awareness programs among military, paramilitary personnel, students and common people on the process to make life healthy and happy. He has been researching on the effects of different stressors on life and their contemplative remedies. Our next resource person is Dr. Ritvika Laskar, who is presently employed as Assistant Professor in the Department of Education at Alipurduar Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Alipurduar. She completed her master's degree followed by PhD from the University of Calcutta. She is also a recipient of the Endeavour Research Fellowship and has completed a short-term research project from the University of Sydney in the year 2016. We will shortly commence with the sessions, before which I wish to draw your attention to the program schedule that has already been sent in your registered email ID. We shall begin with the webinar through a prayer invoking the blessings of our dear Lord, and this will be presented to us by our respected Father Dr. George Chempakathanal, Vice Principal, Salesian College, Siliguri Campus. This will be followed by the opening remark on the webinar by our Father Professor George Thadathil, Principal, Salesian College, who will be sharing with us his words of wisdom. We will then begin with our technical sessions. The first and the second technical sessions will be presented by our esteemed resource persons, Dr. Kaushik Raj and Dr. Ritvika Laskar respectively, and each of them will be sharing their invaluable ideas and views regarding the various aspects of the topic. This will be followed by the vote of thanks. A gentle reminder for all the participants that the feedback link will be shared after the end of the second technical session in the comment section, and the submission of the duly filled up feedback form will ensure in receiving of e-certificate in the registered email ID. I sincerely hope that this webinar organized by the Department of Education would be of help to all of you in understanding through the various complexities and ideas pertaining to mental health and tackling the issues related to it in a much more constructive and effective manner in this lockdown scenario and also otherwise. Thank you all.
As we begin this webinar on mental health, we ask God to bless all of us. Bless all those who are in any way not enjoying mental health, that God may bless all of them. I would ask all of you to close your eyes for a while and think of God's presence in our lives. God, our loving Father, we thank you for your blessings, your presence in our life. We ask for your blessings as we discuss, as we listen to eminent people about wellness, mental health. With your blessings, we ask you to be present in our lives, that we enjoy mental health in our families, in our personal lives, and in the world. Bless all those who are working in this profession. We remember very specially all those who are affected in any way because of the pandemic. Heavenly Father, we ask you this in deep faith. Amen.
Welcome to this webinar that is being organized by the third oldest department of Salesian College, Sonada and Siliguri, the Department of Education, on a topic that is so very timely for the students who are suddenly thrown into a new mode of learning. In a way, this transition has affected everyone, including the parents and the teachers, the faculty across the world. And therefore, my dear friends, participants in this webinar, the resource persons, Dr. Kaushik Raj and Dr. Ritvika Laskar, I would like to welcome you on my personal behalf and on behalf of our institution. And I would like to thank and appreciate the effort of Mrs. Priya Topno and Father Jagjivan Turkey and everyone in both the campuses who worked towards making this webinar happen. We have this theme of mental health of students, the educational implications, issues and challenges being presented before us by our resource persons today. Mental health is the most primary, basic aspect of well-being. If we feel happy, contented, serene. It's like everything else is okay, as if the whole world is fine if I am okay. And on the contrary, we all know from our own little and big experiences how when inside we don't feel all right, we don't feel comfortable, we feel distressed in whatever little or big way, many things don't seem to be going all right, least of all with the world outside. And of course, psychologists have been always telling us that there is a way to bring ourselves to wholeness, to that sense of serenity and comfort that we would like to have inside of us. How exactly to achieve it, and what are the causes because of which we lose that balance? I guess that's the crux of the issue as I see from my little perspective of looking at this theme that the department and the faculty in the department have chosen for consideration for all of us. When it comes to students and mental health, I guess these are times when these issues are getting focused, getting an extra attention, as it were. Of course, there were students who were afraid of exams, or who were simply, let's say, feeling not adequate enough to face more smarter students in their own colleagues or classmates in the school or college environment. Even before the lockdown happened, even in the so-called normal times, there were issues of self-image, of self-perceptions, and how one either succeeded or sometimes failed to address these issues of self-perception and well-being. If there were issues in the normal times, this webinar is addressing the issue that in these times of the lockdown, being constrained and confined to a space of one's own home with all lot of restrictions surrounding us, the problems are being compounded. We are coming to and we are facing a situation that's more complicated. So, understanding the causes of the mental distress and the emotional balance being upset itself could be a big source of relief for many a student who intelligently approaches the issue. When we were younger and in student days, we were told one thing, that is, apply a bit of RET, rational emotive therapy. It is true one could feel suddenly afraid, someone could feel suddenly angry, someone could feel suddenly, very much bogged down and low with no apparent reason. But we are, as human beings, not only emotional, but we are also rational. And therefore, can we bring some reason to this emotion that we are experiencing in order to overcome it? Well, this is just putting it in a very simplistic term, but I hope one or the other will come back to this topic. So my dear friends, I'm just saying that we have a whole set of problems and we have a whole set of solutions. And I hope this day and this webinar brings you to explore these avenues before you. Thank you.
Hello everybody, this is Dr. Kaushik Rich, psychiatrist. I'm very happy and delighted to be here. Thankful to further principal and obviously to HOD of Department of Education. Now, my dear students, what is written on the screen? Yes, this is the question is coming to almost everybody, right? For the last 15 years, I'm trying to make people aware of the mental health, different mental health issues, how to behave with the mental health professionals and a person with mental health problems. For that, I'm conducting lots of awareness program, and in almost every program, whether the program is with common people, the student, the IPS officer, the chartered accountants, or the teacher, whoever may be the participant, this is a very, very common question. So, why me or why us? For you, you may say that, sir, we are fit, we are all studying well, we are doing well. So, why? So, why we are here? Before COVID-19, our world was almost normal. Everything was smooth going, right? So till November 2019 or December 2019, as per WHO, the more than half of the world population was suffering from what? Yes, depression and anxiety. How much? More than half of the world population. And in India, it is any one of the family member is suffering from this. And if you look into your own life, your family life, your social life, you can recall that any day, anyone has told you, no, I am not feeling well, not physically, but mentally. But what is the scenario? We used to neglect, we used to suppress, we are feeling shy to consult with a psychiatrist, we scared to meet with a psychiatrist. Why? Because of our lack of awareness, because our society train us that पागलों का डॉक्टर पागल होता है. This is really a very, very unfortunate thing that we are ignoring the most important problem of the current world. No, it is not pandemic COVID-19. The mental health issues are bigger pandemic than COVID-19. Later on, I will talk about the COVID-19 and the different situation. But before entering to our main program, we must know why we will observe or why will we watch this webinar show. Because if I feel that this is not important for me, you may skip. But it's not what from me. It is all the experts of the world who are dealing with the social life or family life. It is a very common issue in every family, that is mental health issue. In your family, cardiac pacemaker may be necessary. In your family, you may not have cancer in any one of your family, but mental health, it is necessary for everybody. So my dear student, from today, never think of that. Why me? It is definitely me. I must know every corner to be fit mentally, and not only you, also you will help other to be mentally fit. Let's come to our main topic. Yeah. What will you do if the program is not a webinar in your college auditorium? What will you do? You will come to attend this program. How? You will dress well, you will style your hair well, you will use nail enamel, you will use the lip color, right? As it's a regular habit of us before going outside, right? But if I ask you, how many of you before attending the program do some study about the topic to be discussed? Unfortunately, the answer will be a very minimum person. Yes, this is the fact, dear. This is the fact. We are vigilant to our outside, but ignorant to our mind, our brain, our soul. Isn't it? Yes. We dress neatly so that everybody should praise me. We change our fashion. But what about my mind? Have you ever think of decorating your mind to enrich your brain? No. Now, we the psychiatrists are telling that COVID-19 pandemic changed the situation. It is an eye-opener. Why? Because though after lockdown, initially we all were happy because we all were spending time with our family. We are getting more time to spend our favorable activities. But after few days, gradually our happiness was disappearing. Why? Because we were surrounded by lots of unpredictable future, anxiety, weariness. We all were restless. Why? Because we were not able to prepare such kind of incidents. We were not prepared our brain so that it must be healthy. We are taking food from our mother, who are doing class in the Moodle. We are free, tension free, so that I don't have to go to the college. But very few of us are preparing our mind or making our brain and mind healthy to face the different unseen incidences of the life, because we never took care of our brain, our mental health, our mind. We always took care of our physical fitness. But if you are not mentally healthy or strong or mentally sound, the physical fitness is of no use. So WHO always define that healthy people means healthy mind, then healthy body, and obviously the healthy environment. So dear all, we have to empower our mind. We have to keep a balance in our mind to propel through different incidences of our life. As I am telling repeatedly that we are taking lots of care during this COVID-19. We are washing our hand, we are wearing mask, we are using hand sanitizer or with different sanitizer, we are taking bath after coming from outside. But what are we doing with our mind? Are you taking special care for this situation? Unfortunately, no. And this leads to this huge worry, huge distress and anxiety. So, to maintain your normal health, you must know way to keep your mental health fit. Here we believe in two environments. One is our inner environment and other is our outer environment. We have to keep balance in between these two. And whenever we are mentally healthy, we are able to make this balance very well. And most of the time, every disease are because of this imbalance. How imbalance occurs? It depends on our thinking process. How? Because when we grow up, we are our thought process used to grow. As you are a student, you have very good relation with your teacher, with your parents, with your relatives, with your friends. And every moment, as per the law of physics, there is exchange of energy. What energy? The energy from our thought process. We used to take energy or thought process from my parents, from my teachers, and sometimes I also try to spread my energy. Right? Usually up to 10th standard, we listen to our parent figure. We usually never express our view, our concepts. After that, we have desire to share our own thinking, our own logic. And during graduation, legally we are adult, so we try to exert our opinion strongly. And this process leads to lots of conflict. This conflict is not always with other, but in many occasions within you also, within me. Why? Because you grown up with a different thinking, and when are you in a different environment, your thinking and the process in the environment are not similar. Then you have a conflict, and sometimes the conflict with your parent, with teacher, with the friends also. And this is very important for the mental health issues. So you have to identify these conflicts. This identification is not only for your mental health and hygiene, but also to help others who are not able to express their emotions. So my dear students, from today, you will help others, you will help yourself to identify different types of mental health issues, so that you should not lose any of your friend, you should not lose any opportunity in your career, in your future, because the conflict makes us irritable. Conflict forced us to take hasty decisions, which may be a lot for our future. So we have to think of these things. We have to identify different issues which we will discuss right now. First, the thing is that regarding the conflict is the mood disorders. Why mood? Because sometimes we say that my mood is irritable, don't disturb me. Or sometimes we say I am very happy in mood, so I can't do anything at this moment. And this mood disorder, majorly the psychological reason is the conflict. But if a person is in conflict, we have to identify, we have to help him. In two ways usually it occurs. It might be low mood or depression, or it might be a bipolar or aggressive mood. For depression, I told you already that it is the major cause of mental health issue in the world. The depression is a pandemic at present in the world, and after COVID-19, almost 90% of the world population is suffering from the depression. Isn't it shocking? Yes. So we must know the definer or the identifier of this depression or low mood. Usually in depression we used to see the low mood, diminished interest or pleasure in all activities, the reduced concentration, reduced appetite, disturbed sleep. The person may be agitated or the retarded, doing less work, and the most dangerous is inappropriate guilt. So my dear student, it is not only for your benefit but also to any near and dear one, any close person you know. If anybody is feeling such kind of problem, you able to identify, don't waste time, directly consult with us. Please, again I will tell you, don't feel shy, don't hesitate, don't waste your time, because these incidences are dangerous for the future. If they are not getting help at the proper moment, they may lose lots of things. A student may skip exam, a student may skip interview, a person may skip office, so there may be the loss of career, loss of financial, and the loss in the family. So my dear student, don't waste time, come to a psychiatrist. We are ready to help you. Here I am giving you one example of, right now you all know Deepika Padukan. She was also sufferer from depression, and she took medicine from us more than 1.5 years, and she is the brand ambassador of our organization, Indian Psychiatric Society, and everywhere she is also with us for doing these awareness programs. So don't feel shy, please come forward to help yourself and to help your friend also. Now another few related diseases related with the conflict, like the ODD, which is known as the oppositional defiant disorder. Here the person is with the irritable mood, they are easily get annoyed, they are often angry, they often argue with their authoritative figures, and they refuse to comply. So if you see any of your near and dear one, or any of your close, or you yourself is suffering from such kind of symptoms, so please come forward. Another interesting disease we have that also arises from the conflict, that is the kleptomania. We, to some extent, we all have idea about the disease, that intense desire to steal insignificant things. So even if you notice any of your friend, because it is very common in this young age, so you must bring him for the help proper. Now the most important thing related with this conflict, I may have conflict with my mother. Any student may do poor result in the exam. A girl may lose his boyfriend. There are lots of events in our life, and what is the common way out, or what is the common way to get rid of these pains? We usually start do addiction. My dear student, this cannot be a solution, because addiction cannot give you the relief. It cannot give you the proper relief. Why? Because addiction make you mentally weak. Addiction make you physically weak. Temporarily you may get some pleasure, but for a long run it will ruin you, it will destroy you, it will finish you. So my dear students, I am with you. Psychiatrist is always with you. So please don't feel shy, even if at present you are doing some addiction, or you know somebody, they may have some addiction. It may not be your student, it may not be your parent, but even if it is very close person, you know them, so please bring them. So today's awareness program is not only to make you aware for yourself, it is to make you a mature man mentally, so that you can take the responsibility of the society also. So being a responsible future citizen, you must be careful about this substance abuse. You must help the person who are in trap of this addiction or in this substance abuse. Next is the a very common disorder, that is the anxiety disorder. In anxiety disorder, we all used to tell before the exam that I am very tensed, I am very anxious. Before the result, we used to say, before any interview, before the declaration of result of the interview, we usually say, I am very tensed, I am very anxious. So if you are feeling it, if you are able to handle it, fine. But if you feel that you are very restless, you are easily fatigued, you cannot able to concentrate, you have a body ache. So my dear student, even if the problem is of yours or any known person to you, please don't waste time. Bring to us. We are ready to help, because in anxiety disorder, in the initial stage, it is not that much of problematic, but if it increases, it may be a problematic for a person. It may influence the personal life, his future career in every way. That may create a problem. Similarly, we all know the social anxiety disorder. Many of us has the stage phobia. We scared to give the public speech. We scared from the interview, one-to-one talk. Usually the person have a anxiety in the social situation. They used to avoid. I have lots of such patients. They are very good students, but during the interview they are not able to perform. After repeated failure, they came to me, and right now they are very well. So please, my dear students, if you feel that you or somebody has some problem in exerting yourself, in facing the problem in facing the interview, or facing problem during interview, so please don't hesitate, don't feel shy, come to us. Another important anxiety disorder is a panic disorder. It usually occurs in a very stressful situation. Suddenly the person feel that she or he may had a chest pain, feeling of choking, increased heart rate, severe sweating, shaking of the hands. If you know somebody is having such kind of problem, so please don't waste time, bring to us. Is it a life-threatening? No. You may tell that, sir, he can manage by himself. Yeah, definitely. Every person has the ability to cope. But the problem is that sometimes this coping process is so delayed. During that, the person may have started problem in the family, in the society, or in the job space. So we don't want to take any chance, we don't want to waste time. So it is our always request, if whenever you are feeling any kind of anxiety, any kind of tension, come forward, don't feel shy, don't hesitate, we are ready to help you. Similarly, there is another problem. Usually these people, we used to make fun with these people, the person who has the phobia. And all of you know about the claustrophobia, agoraphobia, because phobia is a very common term to all of us. But as I am telling repeatedly, every moment, mental health, professional and mental health issues are fun for lots of people. But unfortunately, this problem of phobia may be a catastrophe for a person who is suffering, because a person suffering, I have a patient who have a phobia of the being travel in the train. Do you know what happened? He was not able to do his business outside the Siliguri. He was not able to travel Bangalore. He was not able to travel, or he is not able to fly to Guwahati. And gradually his business was facing lots of monetary loss. That was only because he was scared to travel through road or by flights. So these phobias may be problematic for your future life. for your scholastic life and definitely for your career. So even if you have problem or if you have a facing problem in a specific situation, specific environment, you must come to me. We are always ready to help you. Another problem, this problem also, the people used to make fun with these people. The person is repeatedly checking a lock. It may happen in your hostel also. It may happen in your family also, that your classmate, after locking his room, he is repeatedly checking the lock. Not once, twice or thrice. More than 50 times, more than 100 times. Even if he reached to bus stop, again come back to the room and check the lock. This is called the obsessive compulsive disorder. The person has the obsession of some idea and he is compelled to do something. Commonly, this is a hand wash or maybe checking habits, may have the habit of counting, may have the habit of the symmetry. I personally have a very brilliant student till graduation, but when he entered the masters, this problem was started and he was unable to read. Why? Because whenever he starts reading or whenever he starts studying, he used to just make a symmetry of all the notebooks. He repeatedly arranging his notebooks up, down, and hours after hour he was not able to stop this arranging his notebooks. And he skipped his first year exam also in the masters. After treatment, he is very fine. He is already abroad and doing PhD. But most of the time, people make fun for this problem. So don't make fun. Don't ignore. Don't hesitate. Don't feel shy. Please come to us. Next, after OCD, we have another important problem, that is the trauma and stress related disorder. That trauma and stress may not be in your life, it may be in others' life, but please be sympathetic to the person who is suffering such kind of problem. If you feel that any of your friend or any of your known person have a problem almost similar like the depression, along with that they are very scared, they are not able to mix with the people, they have a low mood, they are very anxious, they are very tensed in a specific situation, then you have to think of that it might be acute stress disorder or PTSD or adjustment disorder. If you feel that the person is not able to maintain the normal life or maintain his day-to-day routine or his study properly, please bring to us, because trauma and stress related disorder, if not identified at the proper time, if not treated at the proper time, that may be a problematic for the future also. So my dear students, try to understand a person's problem, don't make fun with them, help them to maintain a better life for their future and also to make a better future. Now there is a most important psychiatric problem, that is the psychotic problem, and this is the most notorious disorder for which the psychiatrists are stigmatized as the doctor of mad. Before that, all the problems, all the issues I discussed, most of the times these problems are not manifested properly. That's why I requested you repeatedly to try to identify in your and in other also. But whenever a person suffering from psychotic disorder, the problems are overtly manifested. All the vagabonds or the people we used to see on the road, they are muttering to self, wore poor hygiene, with poor dress, shouting, sometimes very arrogant. This is the problem of the psychotic disorder. But one common mistake or one common wrong misconception we have that once a person started medicine for this, they have to take lifelong. And number two, all the medicines given by a psychiatrist is the medicine for sleep. My dear student, please change your view, please change your concept, because lots of person have this psychotic disorder and they do excellent in their future. I can say you that you must know the name of the movie, the Oscar winning movie, A Beautiful Mind. Yes, you are all nodding your head. You all know A Beautiful Mind movie. Do you know upon whose life the movie was made? The movie was made the great Nobel laureate John Nash, and he was a patient of this psychotic disorder. So my dear students, never make fun, never make a wrong opinion or wrong comment on these patients. And we, the Psychiatric Society, forced to change the name of the movie Mental Hai Kya of movie of Kangana Ranwat to Judgmental Hai Kya. Why? In this movie, the mental patients were defaming the mental patients. So, my dear students, think of these disorders and help them. Another problem, that is a gender dysphoria, that also used to occur at this age. If anybody want help and he or she is feeling shy, don't hesitate. Please bring him or her to us. My dear students, last but not the least, one thing I will request you at the end of this presentation, this awareness program, one thing you must have in your heart, in your brain, that empathy, empathy and empathy. Please open up your mind, gather this information, use in your life, so that we must not lose any person, either their social or family life or their life proper. They should not take any wrong decision. We must help each other. We must know the mental health issues. We must be mentally healthy. We must do physical activity in the morning. We must do some meditation, and we must help any person with mental health issues in proper time and with the proper place. If you have any problem of your own, of your any known person, please bring to us. We, the psychiatrists, are always ready to help you. We always maintain the privacy. We are always maintain the confidentiality, but you have to come forward. So whatever knowledge you gather today, use it in your life and help yourself and definitely other also. Thank you, my dear.
Today's topic is mental health of students, educational implications, issues and challenges. When a person says, I have fever or I have a headache, we tend to get very careful. We advise them to go to the doctor, take some medicines. Often we even offer them medicines without knowing the real reason behind their not feeling comfortable. But when somebody says, I'm not feeling good, or I do not know what is wrong with me, but somehow I do not feel comfortable, there's some problem, I can't really specify what. When such a situation arises, we simply say, okay fine, come on, this is just a passing phase. Go for a movie, better still try some retail therapy, do some shopping for yourself, and you never know, you'll feel much better. But what are we doing in this process? We often fail to address this pertinent issue of mental health, and at times, perhaps unknowingly, we even ignore it as something not very significant. However, it is quite alarming that a considerable percentage of student population, not only in India but across the world, are either diagnosed with some mental health issue or have been treated for the same. Not only students but also people successfully placed in their lives have reported the need for professional help due to psychological issues. Now, there can be an array of reasons that might impact mental health of a student. Some of the common ones are childhood abuse, trauma or neglect, social isolation or loneliness, experiencing discrimination and stigma, social disadvantage, poverty, bereavement, severe or long-term stress, having a long-term physical health condition, drug and alcohol misuse, domestic violence, bullying, significant trauma as an adult, such as being involved in any incident or in any accident where the person feared losing his or her life. Physical causes, for example, head injury, neurological issues, even factors like epilepsy can lead to mood swings and lead to other kind of behavior problems. And another significant factor which can lead to mental health issues is heredity. Now, mental health, when defined broadly, refers to a person's condition with regard to psychological and emotional well-being. It plays a significant role in defining one's personality. It impacts the way we think, behave, and conduct ourselves in our day-to-day lives. A mentally healthy person can adapt himself or herself in any situation. Society has its taboos and prohibitions, and for satisfactory social or personal living, the individual must learn to adapt to these. This presence of adaptability is one of the qualities of a mentally healthy person. A person who is mentally healthy will not even think twice if he is asked to adjust with some of the social norms or mores. But a person who is having mental health issues, who is having problems adjusting, will definitely not be able to accept social norms and conditions at one go. The person will have problems in understanding the social values, the social norms. The person will be having problems in even accepting those or even conforming to those. This ability to adjust and conform, to delimit one's behavior to the bounds of legality and respectability, is certainly one facet of healthy personality. Besides adaptability, optimism is another variable of mental health. Several studies have indicated that low achievers frequently express fear of failure in examination and lack of interest in studies, whereas high achievers are more optimistic about their academic future and they aspire to achieve high standards. Maladjusted students do less well in scholastic competition than other students. Underachievers are more prone to feel helpless, rejected, or isolated, which would again in turn affect their ability to adjust and adapt. Student mental health issues are characterized as a student experiencing difficulties regulating their mood, thoughts, or behavior. Looking at mental health from the educational point of view, mental health of learner as well as of the teacher is of utmost importance for efficient learning and proper development of personality. The school also plays a very important role in ensuring mental health of the learners. Ensuring mental health of the learners, along with that also diagnosing learners who might be having some mental health problems. An infant, as we all know, spends a majority of its time with the family. Mother plays the most important role in socializing a child. Family plays a very important role in letting the child know about social values at the very initial stages. However, gradually it is the school and the teacher who take over and assume an important place in ensuring a healthy climate for the benefit of the learners. The years of childhood and adolescence play a key factor in shaping young adults in who they will become and what their role in society will be. During these phases of life, children and teenagers spend a majority of their time in school, making this environment a crucial part of their life, well-being and development. From Kothari Commission or the Indian Education Commission of 1964-66 to National Curriculum Framework of 2010, issues relating to mental health and its subsequent role have been clearly articulated. The school, we all know, is a miniature society. It is representative of the society at large. It is representative of the outside world. It can be said that children often learn to evaluate themselves in the world in which they live from the opinion of their parents and teachers, along with acceptability by peers. School environment plays an important role in the development of positive attitudes among students. It provides feelings of security among students along with a conducive environment for learning which is free from fear, tension and frustration. The co-curricular activities organized in school also play a prominent role in channelizing energy of the learners in a positive and creative manner. Through co-curricular activities, students are able to vent out their pent-up feelings. Garfield, in one of his studies, specifically stated that relationship between creativity and mental health. Garfield, in one of his studies, claimed that there is definitely a positive relationship between mental health and creativity. There is a positive correlation between mental health and creativity. These activities help students in understanding their creative potentials and channelizing their energies towards achieving those creative potential. For the timing, they forget about their mental health issues and they dedicate all their energy, all their resources into fulfilling their creative desire. The most alarming part of the entire discourse is that mental health difficulties in children and teenagers are often unrecognized. Consequently, young people commonly go without treatment. Just by looking at a person, it is not possible to state whether the person has some mental health issues or not. These mental health issues are very psychological. We cannot just look at a person and say, okay, this person is having some problems. It is only by studying their behavior, it is only by observing them that we can understand whether the person has some mental health issue or not. And in school, a teacher is the best person to do this. Young people, they often go without treatment because they often remain undiagnosed, and this is one of the major problems related to mental health. Therefore, the role that school and teachers play in promoting positive mental health in children should not be underestimated. Creating a school ethos which promotes and builds strength among students irrespective of their academic profile can turn risk into resilience and significantly reduce the prevalence and impact of mental health disorders. Good mental health is critical to children's success in school and also in life. Kellum, in one of his studies, pointed out that the most important factor in mental health of child is the degree to which the child masters basic educational tasks and earns approval of the class teachers. The implication of this claim clearly seems to be that a primary mental health function of the schools is to ensure that children not only master basic educational and social tasks but are also given personal and warm recognition for doing so. Now, here again comes the role of the teacher, because the teacher is in the position to observe the child on a daily basis. So the teacher is at the best position to understand whether the child is having some mental issue or not, or is there anything different about the child when compared to other children. Now we can consider some of the instances which otherwise might appear to be very trivial, but do play a crucial role in manifesting disturbances among students encountering mental health issues. There is often a tendency to alienate the quiet little loner in the class who has never raised his or her hand in the classroom, has never asked any question, who hardly smiles when the entire class goes on a roll after a joke is cracked. Instead of ruling the student out as an extraordinarily shy student or as an uninterested individual, The teacher should rather try to get involved with him or her in a personal dialogue, failing which the teacher might very well refer the child to the student counselor. Now there can be another instance where, as teachers, we have often come across students who are very stubborn, who are very naughty. It is extremely difficult to control that lot of students, but it is again the responsibility of the teacher to understand that this naughtiness, this stubbornness is probably because the child is craving for personal attention. So what should we do at that moment? It is important to retrace our steps to the source point, which might have induced the students to behave in the manner they are doing. Again, there are underachieving kids who may be studying very hard throughout the year, but just on the day of the exam or just the day before the exam, the student becomes nervous and completely fails to deliver on the day of the examination. And again, there are students who are very intelligent, but they deny to write on the paper. So what do we do with these students? Do we simply rule them out? Do we simply say that they are problem child, we do not know how to deal with them? No, that is not the solution. Instead, what do? We try to talk to them. We try to understand their problem. We try to refer them to the school counselor. If needed, the teachers can talk to the parents, because parents can also give an insight into the existing condition. Therefore, the role of the teacher is very important. It is important for them to identify the students and deal with them in a compassionate manner rather than rebuking them. A teacher should have the required knowledge about mental health. That is very important. As teachers, we come across a plethora of diverse students who don't act the way they should be. Here comes our specific role, our need to deal with students in a customized manner. The teachers play a crucial role in ensuring positive mental health for the students, besides identifying students who might be having mental health issues. Awareness of the teachers concerning behavior associated with mental disorders is essential, as they are in the unique position of observing student behavior on a daily basis. The teacher plays a key role in ensuring positive mental health. The teacher must have knowledge of the fundamental principles of human behavior to be able to tackle the problems of his or her students. The teacher has to develop cooperation, team spirit, and group participation among students. He or she has to try to develop a variety of interests in the students so that they are able to identify their potentials and engage themselves in co-curricular activities. Worthwhile activities of the students should be appreciated and encouraged. The teacher's behavior with the students should be of a friend, philosopher, and guide. When we talk about mental health of students, we have to keep in mind that the teacher's mental health also plays a very significant role in the teaching-learning process. If the teacher does not have a sound mental health, then he or she cannot do justice to the job. Now, I would like to end by saying that it is also important for the teacher and the student alike to understand that having a mental health issue does not make the person abnormal or different. Rather, these issues should be addressed in time and dealt with in a matured manner. Children with mental health issues should not be abandoned. Rather, they have to be treated with greater care and affection. The society at large has to be accepting of these individuals. Thank you.
A word of thanks to everyone for making this one-day webinar possible on the topic mental health of students, education implications, issues and challenges. In the first place, I'd like to thank the organizing committee, Father Professor Dr. George Tharatil, Principal, Salesian College, Father Dr. C.J. George, Vice Principal, for their word of encouragement and support right from the start of this program, this webinar. In the second place, I would like to thank the resource persons, Dr. Kaushik Raj, Psychic Consultant, Dr. Ritvika Laskar, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Alipur Dua, for their expertise, for their in-depth contribution on this topic. Thank you for giving your time to enhance the mental health of our students. I would like to thank co-conveners, Assistant Professor Priya Topno, Head Department of Education, Siliguri Campus. Also, I'd like to thank the executive members, Assistant Professor Ganga Prajoli, Assistant Professor Shraddha Pradhan, Assistant Professor Ranita Chakrabarti, Assistant Professor Ms. Priscilla Gimeri, Assistant Professor Mr. Penik De. I also like to thank the technical team, the technical assistance that they have provided. Ms. Yadika Prasad and Mr. Bruno Thapa and Assistant Professor Patrick Johnson. Last but not the least, I'd like to also thank the participants for their actively participation in this webinar. Kindly fill the feedback form, the link for which is provided in the comment box below. Thank you.